Hey, everybody. I'd like to take a look at the water distribution on Earth, or looking at all the water in the hydrosphere and how it's kind of distributed in the different places. So, starting here, this right here is 1,000 milliliters of water. So, let's just say that we took all the water on Earth and we poured it in here. So everything from the oceans, lakes, rivers, streams, clouds, whatever, all that water, glaciers, all that stuff, go into this right here. So where does it go from here? So the first big division that we make is salt water versus fresh water. All right. So most of the earth is covered in oceans, which is salt water. Now, for us humans and people, to survive, we need fresh water. All right, so we need a fresh water supply. So how much salt water is there versus fresh water? All right, so here's a little visual here. So actually, 97% of the water on Earth is salt water, which us humans are not readily available to use for what we need: eating, drinking, growing crops, hygiene, showering, like all those things, building things, manufacturing. All right, we need a freshwater supply. All right, so if I were to show you this visually, all right, 97% is salt, while 3% is fresh. So that would look like this. So out of that 1,000 milliliters, we get 30 about 30, oops, I hit my camera, 30 milliliters of fresh water. So all this is not really that usable for us. All right, so this is full of salt. All right, so that leaves us with this 30 milliliters of fresh water. But is all of that fresh water available for us to use for what we need? So let's see. Actually, most of this fresh water is not available. We can't get to it. And it's too expensive to get to because it's frozen. It's frozen in the glaciers. So of this, okay, about 80%, about 79-80% of our fresh water is in the glaciers. So it would look something like this. Oops, sorry, I'm not pouring in the screen. Oh, so we would get, let's see, so about 24 of those 30 milliliters is going to be frozen. All right, which means that it's hard to get to use it for the purposes that we need it for. So that leaves us with 6 milliliters, all right, of fresh water. All right, so this not usable? All right, so is all of this available for us humans to use? Well, actually, not exactly, because about 20% of this is in groundwater. All right, so that would be about, let's see, about 4.5 milliliters. Whoops, that was not a good spill. That's very devastating. Oh, so a large percent of that fresh water is in the ground, something we call groundwater, right? And most of that water in the ground is really hard to get to. So it's so far underground we can't get it, or we just can't get all of it out of there. So we do have some fresh water in the ground, all right, but we can't get to all of it. And really, most of the world gets their fresh water supply from the ground. All right, so I know here in Michigan, a lot of us get it from the Great Lakes source, but most of the time around the world, it comes out of the ground. So groundwater is a very important source of fresh water. So looking at what we have left, all right, these basically few milliliters of water is what we're going to find most of it in surface water. So lakes, rivers, streams, swamps, all right, is just this little tiny bit of water that we have left. So starting from this 1,000 milliliters, all right, we have only 3% fresh water, 97% salt water. Most of that fresh water is frozen in the glaciers, and then a lot of the other fresh water is stuck deep underground, right, which leaves us with surface water, about this much, our lakes, rivers, streams. Now, here's the thing, is that, I mean, if you think about it, I'm not walking down to Batches or Plaster Creek and taking a sip out of it. I mean, you might have to pay me like $10, but I'm not going to do it because it's not safe to drink. So a lot of that surface water does need to be treated. Some of it's polluted, not safe to drink. So really, how much water do we have on the planet if we started with 1,000 milliliters is safe for us humans to drink and to use? And it's about, we call it potable. You think about it like a pot, like you boil a pot water. We have about, oh, hold on, here it comes. Here it comes, wait for it. Oh, that was way too much. We don't even get that much. So of all the fresh water and all the water on Earth, we have about that much there. That is safe for us to drink and to use for cleaning and growing crops and food. That. So we started with all of this, and we have that. And this needs to be divided amongst the 7 billion, nearly 8 billion people on the planet. And the thing about this is water, fresh water is not evenly distributed. All right, some places in the world, like us here in Michigan, we have a big fresh water supply in the Great Lakes, while other places like the desert, they don't have that. So really, we do have lots of water on Earth. We're not getting any more water, all right? But we can kind of consider water a limited resource, meaning that we need to take care of it because of all this water. Really, we only have about this much that is available and safe for us humans to use.